Hello everyone, welcome to another Narc Survivor live video. In this one, talking about how you can reclaim your power from a narcissist. Because when you're with a narcissist, they want to own you. They want to feel like you are their possession. So they want to be in control of what you think, feel, and how you act and behave. They want to be in control of all of it. Because they view you as an extension of themselves, rather than a separate person with your own feelings, wants, and needs. They view you as a part of them. So they expect you to feel what they feel. They expect you to want and need what they want and need, rather than you being a separate and distinct individual. Because they view you as a source of supply, as someone who is meant to supply them with the attention, the admiration, the energy and reactions that they need to validate their false self, so that they can feel like they exist, so that they can feel like they're real. And by you doing that, by you validating the false self and this illusion that they're portraying, you are giving your power to them. Because that's really why they need you as this source of supply. It's because they actually have no power or energy of their own. They can't generate it from within. Because this illusion, this facade, this false character, it isn't real. So it needs your attention, your energy and power, so that it can survive and thrive, so that it can exist. The only problem is that by you giving your power and energy to this false character that they have created, that they use to get the attention and admiration that they crave and need, by you giving your power and energy to that, you're not giving your power and energy to yourself. So many of you are losing yourselves. You may find that you are dissociating. You don't feel like you are yourself. You're not the person that you used to be. Because your life force, that power and energy that you generate from within to validate and to sustain your character, your true self, that is now going to the narcissist to make their false self seem real, so that they feel powerful, significant, important, and in control. But they couldn't feel that way without you. Without you giving your power and energy to them. It's fueled by your belief. But once you take that away, then their false self can no longer exist. Because it needs your power and energy for it to feel alive. So how do you take your power back from a narcissist. You recognize the separation between you and them. Because up until this point, you may have gone along with their narrative, their agenda, but you're this extension of them, you're a part of them. And you feel like your thoughts, feelings, and needs must always align with theirs. So you need to start paying attention to your thoughts, attending to your own feelings, recognizing your separate wants and needs. Instead of just blindly going along with theirs, giving them your power and energy to a character that doesn't even exist. Instead of doing that, you need to give that to yourself. That life force, that power and energy is meant to sustain you. And the narcissist knows that this character that they have created is not real. That's why they manipulate you, or sometimes they coerce you. This is why they have to pull you into their reality, their world, with their alternate meanings and interpretations. They have to get you to go along with them and their agenda. But they can't do that if you recognize the separation between you and them. You recognize that you're not the same. You don't have a shared interest or anything in common. You feel different things and you want different things. It's just that they manipulated you, they mirrored you, they mimicked you. They made you feel like you aligned with them in some way, but you didn't. You are not what they are about. They just made you believe that you are, as though you're a part of them, to get you to render your power and energy to sustain their false character, so that they can feel powerful and important, desirable and attractive, or whatever else they want to feel in that moment. And narcissists, they really do depend on moments rather than the grand scheme of things, the bigger picture. For a narcissist, everything is in the moment. It's all about the supply that they can extract right now, rather than anything happening in the future. Anything that you have achieved in the past. Any dreams, goals, or ambitions that you have. When you're around a narcissist, you have to forget about all of that. And I'm not saying that's what you should do. I'm saying that's what they want you to do. That's what they expect you to do. They expect you to forget about your entire life up until this moment with the narcissist. They expect you to forget about everything that you are, everything that you have, everything that you have achieved, your family, your friends, your work, your background. You're expected to just cut all of that off and forget about it. Leave it all behind. And forget about your dreams, goals, and ambitions. Just forget about everything. and disconnect from yourself and your emotions and just go along with them. Let them dictate to you who you are, what you feel, what you want and need, what your future should look like. That's exactly how they want it to be. So then you're giving your power to them and you're making them feel special, powerful, important. You're making them feel like they're better than you when in fact they are not. It's just you've given them your power. You have given them the authority. But they do not deserve it. They're not worthy of it. You give a narcissist power, and what will they do? They will abuse it. They will exploit it. They will use it to harm and control you, rather than to make things better for you. They don't even care about you. They don't care about who you are. You're expected to give all of that up and just forget about it when you're around a narcissist. They're not trying to incorporate those authentic parts of you, your past, your background, your family and friends, your work. They were never trying to incorporate all of that into the relationship with them. They wanted you to leave all of that behind and just forget about it and just focus on this moment right now of who they want you to be, of how they expect you to feel and act. Whatever suits them, whatever caters to them. Never mind about what you want. And this is why it's so important to recognize the separation between you and the narcissist. Recognize that, yes, you are two different people. You are nothing like them and they are nothing like you. And that's why they have to manipulate and coerce you to try to get you to be more like them. But you're nothing like them and you never wanted what they want. They manipulated you into that. You just wanted a normal, healthy relationship. That's what you were looking for. But you get involved with a narcissist and it becomes something completely different. It becomes something where they're just using you as this tool, this toy, for their own pleasure and gratification. You're not even treated as a separate person. You're not even given the rights of a human being. And instead, you're just viewed as this object that exists to serve them and meet their needs. But what about you? What do you get out of it? Of course, they just expect you to see it as a privilege just to even be around them. Just to do what they want you to do. Just to make sure that they're happy. But what about you? It's all about what the narcissist wants. And you're just an extension of them. Whatever they want, you're supposed to be happy with it. You're supposed to like it. And you're supposed to not complain about it. Unless you complain about it in a way where they could just watch you squirm. And then they get off on that. It makes them feel like they really have power and control over you. But taking your power back comes by recognizing the separation. recognizing that you are not the same. You are not like them. And they are not like you. And you do not want what they want. You never wanted what they wanted for the relationship and for you. You were manipulated, you were coerced into that. It was never something that you were about. But it's very important for narcissists to get you to agree with it and align with it, be in harmony with it, and see it as though this is your new life now. This is your new identity. This is who you are. It's very important for them to strip you of everything that you once were, everything that you used to be. Because then they can feel like they have total possession over you as this object, this tool that's meant to exist for them now. And this is what narcissists do. They pull people in and they just use and exploit them. And now your life has to revolve around theirs, as though you are their slave, as though you exist solely for them, solely for their pleasure. But I can tell you that you deserve so much more than that. You're worth so much more than that. You didn't come to this earth just to be a toy, a plaything for someone who doesn't even see who you actually are. Someone who doesn't even care about who you are. And instead, someone who just wants to mold you into what they want you to be. You didn't come to this earth for that. You came here for so much more. You came here to be your own person and to find other like-minded people. Not people who are the exact opposite of who you are. Because that's really what the narcissist is. They're the exact opposite of us. We are about something real. But narcissists, they are so fake. It's just all about them. It's all about what they want. It's never about you. It's all about just using you for their own selfish agenda, for whatever they need in that moment, whatever they think is going to make them feel better about themselves. And why? It's because they are still stuck in trauma. They're stuck in unhealthy childhood programming that they can't get out of. And they're just replaying it again and again. They are stuck in a loop. They are of a very low consciousness. And most of them will likely be stuck in this cycle for the rest of their lives. And they selfishly have to pull other people into it to validate it. Only now, with them being on the other end of it, to what they experienced in their childhood with their parents, now they want to be on the other end of that, where they're doing that to you because it medicates them in some sick, twisted way. It's really selfish, but this is what they do. And it's why they want to gain possession of you. It's why they view you as this object that exists to serve them. And you could say that there is a hierarchy to this as well. It doesn't just mean that the narcissist is this almighty puppet master and there's no one above them. There's no one who has authority over them. That's what they might like you to think, but actually there is a hierarchy to this. And while they may be putting you through a cycle of abuse, there may be other people who are also doing that to them. So even the narcissist that you're dealing with, as I said, they also have their own programming from childhood. So they're being run through that cycle, which they can never get out of, and they just pull other people into it. But then also, when the narcissist that you know goes to work or some other place, there may also be other narcissists there who put your narcissist through their own cycle. So this narcissist could have the programming and conditioning from their childhood, but then they're also running off someone else's programming as well. It goes a lot deeper than people think. So there's all sorts of things going on. And there really is a lot of shame and insecurity around it. Where the narcissist, in many ways, is battling this trauma, but they don't feel like they can confront it head on. It's too painful for them. So what they want to do is pull other people into their trauma. But then, with the narcissist being on the other end of it, pulling you through it, watching you going through it, so then it medicates them. It doesn't allow them to heal from anything, but it just makes them feel a little bit better in that moment. It temporarily relieves their pain. But if anything, it actually just perpetuates their suffering. It makes it a lot worse for them. But this is how it goes. This is what they have to do. And that's why they want to gain possession of you. Because you have this personality where it's like you don't judge them, you trust them, you don't recognize so much that they're just extremely traumatized and they've been through so much and they're lost in their own childhood programming and conditioning that they're just constantly trying to pull you through because it regulates them in that moment. You don't recognize that. And instead, many of you take the narcissist as something genuine, as a separate, distinct person who's not a puppet themselves. But that's really what it is. You're just going along with their trauma, their conditioning. And yet it's not leading you anywhere. There is no light at the end of the tunnel with them. It's like a roundabout. It's a cycle. It just goes around and around and it never ends. And that's why you do need to reclaim your power from the narcissist. Because any time that you are in contact with them, all they can do is abuse you. Even the love bombing, the idealization phase, that's also abuse because it's fake. They are disingenuous. They're not real. They're not sincere. So they are deceiving you. They're causing you to believe in something that's not even true. That's not even real about themselves. And this is why it's very important for you to separate yourself from the narcissist. But if you can't do that, if you need to remain in contact with them for whatever reason, or perhaps maybe they could become dangerous if you do suddenly go no contact with them. So if you can't physically separate yourself from the narcissist, at least recognize the separation between you and them. Recognize that you are different, you are not the same. You do not want the same things. You do not accept the type of person that they are. You do not accept the abuse. Because what you may find is that when you're accepting of it, when you're always in agreement with it, rather than recognizing the separation, then you're accommodating it into your life. You're saying that it's okay. And that's why many of you find yourself developing narcissistic fleas. You find yourself becoming more and more like your own abuser, to where you may even engage in reactive abuse. Because that's what it does. Narcissism is contagious. It can change us. And this is why it's so important to recognize that separation, to set boundaries. And you will know when you're dealing with a narcissist, because as soon as you set that boundary, of course, they're going to test it, they're going to cross it. That's typically the first thing that they will do. But remember, boundaries are not for the narcissist. It's not to keep the narcissist away or to prevent them from doing something. Boundaries are for you. It's about your own protection from their abuse. Separating yourself so that you don't become enmeshed with them. So that you don't align with them and what they're about. Because what they're about to what we're about is very different. We are not the same. And when you do that, when you really recognize that separation, it doesn't mean that things will just get better overnight. But with time, you will begin to feel better. Recognizing that that's them, but this is you. And your thoughts, feelings, wants, and needs are different. They are not the same. Anytime that you agree or align with a narcissist, it's causing harm to you. It is reinforcing something that is not you. You're reinforcing something that is them. And of course, you do not want to be aligned with that. Narcissists are so traumatized that they constantly exist in a fantasy space. It's a fantasy space where they are perfect and superior, where they have no flaws, where nothing is wrong with them. And they have to pull other unsuspecting victims into this space to validate it. Because remember, it is a false self, it's not real. So they need your power and energy because they can't generate it from within. They are empty vessels. They have no inner sense of value. And they will be stuck on this loop for the rest of their lives. They will never be able to elevate their consciousness or find a way out of it. All they're ever going to do is try to pull unsuspected victims into it and make you lower your consciousness, keep you asleep, but in a way where you're still able to provide your power and energy to them to validate the illusion. And that's really their goal. That's what they're trying to do. Which is why, of course, when you pull away, when you do redevelop that awareness of yourself, they will get upset. It will cause a narcissistic injury. They're not going to like it. Because up until that point, you were participating in the fantasy space. You were validating them. This false character who's meant to be perfect and superior, but they have no faults or flaws. When you stop doing that, it feels like life or death to them. And that's why they react like they're in a fight for their lives. Because that is their life. It's all they have is the false self. So you do need to be very careful when you set a boundary with a narcissist, when you pull away, when you take your power back. Because narcissists need power. They need your power to validate them. And if you're not doing that, they do get very upset. But I think it is important for us to take our power back from these narcissists. We just need to be very cautious when we do it, because they can be unpredictable and you never know how they might react. But when you take your power back and you start getting to know yourself again, you feel like you've been reborn. You've got a fresh start. You can start again. Maybe you're not the exact same person that you were before. When you're around narcissists, they have no identity of their own. So there's a good chance that yes, they can erase your identity. And you may not get back to the person that you were before. But you can create a new version. Version 2.0. And let them have the old version of you. That's not to say that they won't come back again, because maybe they want the updated version. But each and every time that they do, you continue redeveloping yourself. You keep getting better. Of course, they will keep trying to pull you in and to get you to align with them, because they need that validation. That's what props them up. It makes them feel alive. It makes them feel like they exist. So of course, they need that from you. And they actually hate being dependent on you for that. They resent you. And they envy your independence, of how you're able to generate your own power and energy from within. Because they know it's not like that for them. I do wonder sometimes if maybe they wish that it was. If they could just generate their own power and energy from within and just validate themselves instead of having to get it from you. But I think in some ways they do like their disorder. They do like how it works and the way that it gets them the reactions and just the things that they need. But at the same time, of course, yes, they hate and resent you for being independent and for being able to validate yourself. I mean, that's why they target your self-esteem, because they're very envious and jealous of that. The way that you can validate yourself, you can make yourself feel good. But they can't, they hate being alone. They are dependent on your validation. Whether it's to validate them as something good or even as something bad. Whenever the mask slips. But no matter what, they need your validation. They can't live without it. And you take your power back by just not giving them that anymore. By not agreeing with everything that they say, everything that they want you to go along with. The skyscrapers are lit up. It's really beautiful at night. I've never actually been to the top of the Patronus Towers. I've been outside, there's like a mall and some gardens there. But I have been to this KL Tower over there. It has a nice view. But yeah, this is what we're doing. Me and Nala. Just relaxing in the room. Just feels good to be back with Nala again. After 8 months apart. Because of course, as many of you may have noticed, the past 8 months I left Malaysia, and then I went to Vietnam, Taiwan, Japan, and then the Philippines. But yeah, it's good to be back with Nala again. I just like traveling. Just moving around, going to different places. Just having freedom. And I think that's how we take our power back. It's having something outside of the narcissist. Instead of your life revolving around them. Instead of everything just being about what they want. Because that's really how it is. When you're dealing with a narcissist, it's all about them. It really is. They really are that self-absorbed. Even when it seems like they're making something about you. Even when they're insulting you. When a narcissist is insulting you, it really has nothing to do with you at all. It's still all about them. They're just trying to find a way to feel better about themselves because they've got so much shame. And that's why they're often so negative and pessimistic. They can't deal with it within, they can't regulate themselves. So then it's like, all right, let me put you down so that I can feel better. Is how they think. And it's a sad way to live, but this is just what they do. It's how they have to be. Because going within and confronting the shame, it's just too painful for them to deal with. They want nothing to do with accountability. And this is why they're so hypersensitive to criticism. And it's like anything that you do could set them off. Because they've done so many things wrong. So many bad things. And you just point out one thing that you don't like. And then it just opens the floodgates to everything else. Nala's so relaxed here. That's Nala's Superman pose. She still looks good though, considering she's 7 years old now. I had her in 2017. Still taking the U2 plaque everywhere I go. I had this 3 years ago. for 100,000 subscribers. Very proud of it. We achieved it together. But yeah, to take your power back from a narcissist, you've got to recognize the separation between you and them. Because by doing that, you cut off that supply. You stop giving them your power. Your power comes from you being in agreement with them, accepting what they say or what they do. This is why that separation is so important, and having those boundaries. By doing that, you will be taking your power back. I'll just come out here just to end the video with this view in the background. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up down below. For donations, you can go to my PayPal. It is paypal.me/Narc Survivor. I appreciate all donations, no matter how small. Hit subscribe and click all notifications to be notified when I go live in the future. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you would like to book a one-on-one coaching session with me, just go to my website. It is narcsurvivor.co.uk. And also, you can follow me on Instagram. I uploaded a reel today from last year's trip to Sri Lanka. It's already gotten over 30,000 plays. You can see that and much more. Follow me on Instagram. It is Narc Survivor YouTube. Alright, that's it for this video. Live from the city here with Nala. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate you all, and I look forward to speaking with you in another live video very soon.